today I'll teach you the subject on comparative typology. In our previous lecture, we have spoken about phonological system of languages, I mean in English and Azerbaijani, but today we speak about morphological system of English and Azerbaijani. First of all, I would like to tell something about English and Azerbaijani languages. These two languages are non-kindred languages, and you know that we have kindred and non-kindred languages. English and Azerbaijani are non-kindred languages. English is analytical language, but Azerbaijani is agglutinative language. As you know that there is no any pure analytic or agglutinative language in the world. But we have said that there are some peculiarities. In order to these peculiarities, we may say that English is analytic, but Azerbaijani is agglutinative language. English belongs to Indo-European language, and its subgroup is Western Germanic subgroup. But Azerbaijani language belongs to Turkic language family, or Turkic subgroup. Nevertheless, there are two different languages we'll speak about today, but today we would like to speak about their morphological system. What changes happened in the morphological system of both languages, in Azerbaijani and in English? It's a common knowledge that grammar of every language is traditionally divided into two parts: morphology and syntax. Today we speak about morphology. From your lexicology, you have known the meaning of morphology. Morphology, when we say morphology, first of all, we keep in our mind about the structure, classification of any words in a language. First of all, I would like to speak about part of grammar has its own peculiarities, and these peculiarities can be analyzed in different ways. In order to differentiate them, we'll have some practices here, and the morphological system of a language reveals its properties through the morphemic structure of words. Today we'll analyze the morphology as a notional part of linguistics. That's why morphology as a theoretical part of linguistics reveals some segments. These segments are called morphemes and word. When we speak about the object of morphology, first of all, we should keep in our mind that we mean its structure, classification, and combinability of words. Here we have some slides. I would like to speak about these slides. First of all, we have spoken about this slide, and we have known that all languages has its morphological system, and it has some peculiarities in itself. That's why, first of all, I would like to speak about its structure, because in morphology, morphemes is the minimal and meaningful part of a language. That's why after phonemes, we should speak about morphemes. Morphemes may be one morphemic level, two morphemic level, or multi-morphemic levels. For instance, in Azerbaijani, the phonemes A, Ya, I, U can be used as morphemes, but when they are in the accusative or dative cases. And multi-morphemes consist of some morphemes such as lakin, amma, ancak, belki, but in English we have plural as, and it expresses multi-morphemic level, because in this level we have case of English nouns, or we have plural of English noun. That's why we call it multi-morphemic level of words. Then we'll speak about types of morphemes. As you know, morphemes may be of two kinds. It may be root morpheme and bound morpheme. Root morpheme is the main morpheme, and it consists of, it may be called free morphemes because free morphemes has its own affixal morphemes. Here we should also divide affixational morphemes into two parts. The first part is words changing morphemes, and it expresses relations between words in a phrase or in a sentence. Example, books, chains, etc. But when we speak about stem building morphemes, here we use to form new words, such as iş, işçi, work, worker, etc. In this case, I would like to say that in hierarchical level, we have these levels such as phonemes, then we have morphemes. Phonemes is studied by phonology, but morphemes is studied by morphology. Then we have syntax, semantics, and pragmatics. As I mentioned before, the root morphemes express the concrete material part of the meaning of the word. That's why the basic unit of the morphological level is a morpheme, and it is the smallest structural unit of a language. That's why we should pay attention types of morphemes. The affixal morphemes include prefixes, suffixes, or inflections. Here, we may speak about prefixes and lexical suffixes that they have word-building functions in a sentence, together with its root, and they form the stem of the word. So we should keep in our mind, firstly we should learn morpheme, then words, because some kinds of morphemes form a word in a sentence. That's why we should speak about this one. Then, while speaking about types of morphemes, we should keep in our mind that we have free morphemes. In other words, we may call it root morpheme. Then we have bound morphemes. Free morphemes may be called independent morphemes, but bound morphemes may be called dependent morphemes. We have examples here. Then, if we have free morphemes, it means that we have base words. If we have bound morphemes, we should speak about affixes, prefixes, suffixes, and so on. Here, I would like to mention American scholar Bloomfield's name because he recognized the phoneme and morpheme as the basic categories of linguistic description, and because these units are the easiest and they should be isolated in a language. Then we have another slide here. There are some forms of affixal morphemes such as derivational, zero, plus, minus morphemes. Before speaking about derivational morphemes, I would like to speak about connecting morphemes, because connecting morphemes has a special role in a language. These morphemes we may across in Azerbaijani and in English. Because in English we have these morphemes, but in Azerbaijani you may come across such as vur-havur, dal-badal, word-for-word, or etc. The root according to the positional word, while affixes are not obligatory. In this case, we may say that they may depend on the root of the word. Then, on the basis of formal presentation, we may have overt and covert morphemes. These morphemes has a special role in a language because overt morphemes are explicit morphemes and they build up words. if we have overt morphemes, it means that we should build up new words in a language. Then the notion of covert morphem, we should keep in our mind that these morphemes is called the absence of morphemes. In other words, we may call them as the error morphemes. For example, in Azərbaycan, we may say onlar gəldi. Instead of onlar gəldilər, we say onlar gəldi. Here, lər is the error morphem. In other words, we may say that it is covert morphem and it is hidden in a sentence. Then we have derivational zero morphem, plus and minus morphem, and connecting morphemes. When we say derivational morphemes, here belongs connecting the words, and we could create some words together, such as Azərbaycani kitabxana, in English reader, friendship, etc. Then if we have negative meaning, we call it minus morphem. If we have positive meaning, we may call them plus morphemes. So we have examples. In Azərbaycani, we may say evsiz, it is negative morphem, but if we have positive meaning, we may call it positive morphem. Connecting morphemes in Azərbaycani may have a great role in the field of world building. That's why we should keep in our mind that all these morphemes have their own role in a sentence or in word combinability. Then we should keep in our mind that all the morphological forms of one lexeme are called paradigms. Paradigms is a grammatical category, and in other words, it is the unit of grammatical form and grammatical meaning. If we say English had developed this language system, we should have various syntactical functions in a sentence. For example, in Old English, we had different morphemes, but in modern English, we have quite different morphemes. So, at the same time, while comparing the languages, we may come across some peculiarities of morphological structure of a language, and it has their own classification in Azərbaycani or in English. They are non-kindred languages, that's why they have totally different qualities in all these languages. While speaking in Azərbaycani, we should keep in our mind we have 6 case forms, but in English we have 2 case forms. In Azərbaycani, we may say nominative, genitive, dative, accusative cases, and then we'll speak about in modern English, noun has 6 case forms, such as genitive, dative, accusative, locative cases, and ablative cases. In English, instead of having some cases, we have prepositions. In order to replace them, we have some prepositions in a language. Azərbaycani case system has a wider use than English because the number of them is also different. That's why we may see it from its content. Azərbaycani case system covers noun, the participle, and the infinitive. But in English, we may have only nouns. Noun has 2 cases, infinitive or participle. There is no such notion that we have case forms. So they are different languages. That's why one of them is analytic, the next one is agglutinative languages. One of them belongs to Indo-European language family, but Azərbaycani belongs Turkic language family. That's why it is natural thing that they have some peculiarities and differences in a language. We have examples here. You see that morphemes bags plus zero morphem. Then we have other examples such as S, ED, ER, etc. Then we have also lexical and grammatical morphemes in a language that sometimes we call them intermediate morphemes in a language. I want to finish my lecture because you have some information from your lexicology subject. Here, just now, I only compare two languages, English and Azerbaijani morphological system. Thanks for your attention.